Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and do an overview of the Letshuoer Astralis and to go from there. Before I go on further, I'm going to go ahead and put some notes on the screen. Please note that whatever is in the notes is usually quite different from the video. Alrighty, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and describe the sound of the Letshuoer Astralis and to go from there. So basically, if I had to describe it, I thought initially that it was basically a bassier I thought it was a bassier Letshuoer SO8, but it's kind of hard or tricky for me to say that because I always found the SO8 was hard to describe, and I found many people had different descriptions of the Letshuoer SO8. But this is actually a lot more straightforward. So, in a nutshell, this is a warm-leaning IEM with a crap ton of bass. The vocals are nice and full. If I had to describe it in like a few sentences, really simply, it's a better, juicier Harrier, okay? Or think of like Zigot Lush, but with a crap ton more bass, but it has the good vocals of Zigot Lush. It basically is definitely a warm-leaning IEM. In other words, it kind of lives in a town where, things are more warmish, and I have those in the notes. But yeah, let's get right into it. Okay. Barbie wanna party like all night, and she looking like a zombie in her all fight. So, in terms of bass, I would actually give this a rank of B. And the reason I would say that is there's a lot of bass here, but it's very kind of muddled. And if you don't use the right ear tips, it can get very muddled and messy. So in the box, they have vocal ear tips, and then they have balanced ear tips. The balanced ear tips actually have more bass, and I find the vocal ear tips have slightly lesser bass, and the bass is a little bit punchier. So for me, I found that when I went to, my ears, I found that the large vocal ear tips gave me the best results, where the bass was okay, like around B, and the vocals were really good. So to me, I would say the bass has a ton of bass, like a lot of bass, but it's like muddled. But if you choose the right ear tips, it can come out nice and punchy and clean. But it's just like, I just felt it was a little muddled. Let the music play. Summer's on the way. In terms of sub bass, I would absolutely say that the sub bass was definitely Beats by Dre. Definitely not correct, definitely way above correct, but a ton of sub bass in here. I would say Beats by Dre for sub bass. For female vocals, I would actually give this a rank of A, as in, I thought it was great. It's not average, it's not just good, it was really well done. Female vocals come off very nice and full. It is really, really well done throughout. I was thoroughly impressed. Now, I wouldn't give it a ranking of S. It wasn't like at that level where it didn't like blow me off my freaking chair and like, holy crap, those vocals are so good. No, this is more like, no, this is great. This is good. I kind of put it on par with like, if I ranked the cranial reference as A for female vocals, I would kind of put that there. But I wouldn't say this is like Misty Blue or Studio 4 good, right? It's not quite there, but it's very, very good. Instrumental harshness, what I did was I listened to Luna, and there's a very harsh track there. This was very smooth. And basically, even at higher volumes, the instruments was very smooth. So this is, at least on that track, it handles smoothness. I mean, it's quite smooth when it comes to harsh instruments. Okay, the other thing I always check for, I call it the kitchen sink test separation, but basically, in the song Luna, towards the latter third of the song, there's a part where the vocals come in, then the bass comes in, then the instruments come in, and then everything all comes in at once. And I like to see whether the IM gets confused or whether it handles everything cleanly. This was okay at handling it. When things get busy, it doesn't lose itself, but it wasn't very like super clean, like with dealing with things that come in at once. So it's kind of average on that front. In terms of male vocals, I would actually give this a ranking of A. Now, what's interesting about male vocals is that they don't sound huskier. They don't sound like their voice is pitched deeper, so to say. They don't sound low res. It just sounds like kind of like a neutral warm, kind of like that was that's what I got. And what I'm going to do, what I actually did was I actually wore these IMs and then I used a neutral microphone to hear back what my voice would sound like. And what it does basically is it makes my voice slightly warmer and slightly smoother. So it's kind of like, I'll demonstrate, but it's basically sounded like a Shure KSM 32. Alrighty, so here is the Rode NT1. The Rode NT1 is considered a neutral sounding microphone. Basically, it's got a flat line. So we're just going to use this as a point of comparison. When I listen back and I wear the IM, it doesn't sound like this. It sounds actually more like a Shure KSM 32. All right, so I lied. I am now switching to the Warm 47 Junior. So as you can see, it sounds actually more like this. So my voice is a little bit warmer and a little bit smoother when I listen back. So when I wear the Astralis and I listen back, my voice sounds slightly warmer and a little bit smoother. In terms of sibilance,
Season 7, Episode 6 of Seinfeld.
Okay, I gotta go somewhere, so can we make this quick?
This is actually the secret to mixing for modern.
this IM at regular volume, you're not going to get a lot of sibilance. And then at higher volume, it basically is like moderate sibilance. So overall, this has very little sibilance when you crank up the volume or at regular volume. So it's quite smooth. So that means that when you listen to a lot of tracks that are very sharp or sibilant or just, especially old recordings, this will handle it quite well. It's pretty smooth overall. The soundstage on this, I would say, was average to slightly good. I was a little confused because when I saw other reviewers, they were saying that the soundstage was insanely good. Like, I didn't think so. To me, this sounded pretty average. Like, I've heard IMs that have way better soundstage than this. So that's my thoughts regarding that. Comfort on this was actually okay. But overall, this sounds basically like a warm, tilted, smooth IM with a crap ton of bass. And vocals are smooth and they're nice and full. And they're very well executed, very good female and male vocals on this IM. In my notes, when you read it, I literally said, as I was typing, I'm keeping this. I'm going to keep it. You know what I mean? So I really liked it. I wouldn't say I was blown away by this IM, but I would absolutely say it's very, very, very good. And I really like it. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. All right, well, you guys have a great day. Oh, goodbye.